Yo, welcome back to Uprawr's Rawrcast, where we'll be interviewing everyone from rock stars to porn stars, from actors to influencers, and every 2 weeks we've got a new guest coming on the show. For the last few weeks, we've had Fume for a Friend, we've had, who the fuck have we had? While She Sleeps, we've had State Champs, and this week we've got WSTR. So, guys, thanks for being here.
No worries.
Thank you for having us.
So, I think we'll get started with one of the questions that someone sent in. We usually do this at the end, but this is something that's come up in pretty much every podcast, and it's sort of just naturally come up. So I guess someone's asking because they want your opinion on it now. But obviously, pop punk has gone through quite a large change in the last couple of years. Massive change if you compare it to 10 years ago. So how do you think the current state of pop punk actually is? I've made my feelings pretty plain on this, in the other podcasts. So.
Yeah.
I think pop punk never really died, to be honest. It's always kind of been there in some form, in some way. Whether it was Day to Remember, who kind of kept it alive for a few years and carried it until, Story So Far and Neck Deep, State Champs and stuff came out, and then it kind of fully flourished again. At the moment, it's kind of, I feel like it's kind of mainstream, innit? There's a lot of,
Yeah, I mean,
artists.
you just said about that, that new wave that was, which we were born out of, I suppose, that was happening. And then now, yeah, it's people like Machine Gun Kelly and people like that coming in, and that is now what pop punk is.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's kind of weird. We've said in interviews before, for us, for some reason, we kind of, probably, I don't know if I should say this, but kind of sometimes felt a little bit ashamed to call ourselves pop punk at some points. Not ashamed, but we were everything was so saturated. We were we need to do something different. We need to do something different. And we were going away and we wrote, started veering down other avenues, and we were hang on, what are we doing? And it was only, in the last year when we started to do this record, we're a pop punk band.
It's what we are.
It's what, it's what we are and what we're good at. And obviously we get feedback from people about what they want to hear from WSTR. We're always going to write what we want, but I think it's still there. Like you say, it never really went away. It's just different variations of it. It's never going to go away.
I agree, man. I mean, I think, a few years ago it was really uncool to say you were pop punk.
Yeah, this is what I mean.
It went through this period of, and I think what happened, it's gone through an up and down, which I guess most things do. To me, everything was fucking awesome until 2003. I said this so many times.
Showing your age there,
2003. I'm getting that wrong, actually. Everything was going to 2013.
I was going to say you're really showing your age.
Okay, 2003 was where it got good originally.
Yeah.
It topped out in 2005, and nothing needed to ever happen again after that. If bands had stopped at 2005 and I could just keep listening to that shit, I would, man. It's cool, man. My hair and my music has not changed. But I think, obviously, up until 2013, I think shit was fucking cool. In 2013, I think the entire scene went off a cliff. Not just with pop punk, but everything that relates to sort of the not metal part of alternative. Because I think all the happy, positive shit that was going on with alternative disappeared because people embraced metal.
Yeah.
As in... the mainstream part of alt, I think, went more metal, and that made it really serious and pissed off. Which, I'm a pretty positive person, so I'm not down with the serious shit. And I think there's a lot of negative stuff in the metal scene that the pop punk and the alternative music sort of embraced, and it was shit for a while. And then it sort of started to get its resurgence with that whole Neck Deep sort of. But I don't think it properly come back until Machine Gun Kelly. And as much as he does seem like a bit of a cock.
Yeah.
But he's brought it back to the mainstream. And although the new wave is totally different, and I guess, it's not what it was originally, I think it's really cool that people are just committing to being pop punk, and it's made it acceptable again. And he's taken it back to being I can be a fucking pop punk band and I can be a star.
Yeah, it makes it, I guess it does make it cool again.
I wouldn't say they're committing though. I mean, he'll be pop punk for a year or two.
I don't mean necessarily him.
Yeah,
but the scene, there's people that And if you're like a real fucking passionate music, you're probably going to hate what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But people like Jaden that are fucking TikTok stars 5 or 6 years ago would not have brought out a pop punk album.
No, of course they wouldn't.
Because that wouldn't have been the mainstream cool thing to do.
Well,
So
no,
the fact that it is, I think that's awesome.
It's like the Travis Barker core thing now, isn't it? That Travis is so involved with loads of artists and all these people are writing pop punk records. The whole thing when I first started to like, because it was Sammy that showed me the MGK record. He was like, "Oh, have you heard this?" And I was like, "Oh, I'd never really listened to Machine Gun Kelly before." I was like, "No, I haven't." He's like, "It's a pop punk record." I was like, "What?" So I started listening, and it kind of just made me feel like that same thing that happened when Avril Lavigne did her first album. And I was thinking, this is going to be great for pop punk because it's going to bring all those people from other genres into pop punk and do that same thing. And like for me, like Busted, when I was growing up, I loved Busted, and it was like Busted, you know, Green Day are my all-time favorite band ever. But it was Busted that kind of got me into the scene in a way, you know. And I was thinking, this is going to hopefully do what
the same thing.
Yeah, you know. But I do now think that like this is what I thought last year, but I kind of think like Sammy just said, he's not committing. I think it's going to be a bit of a fad for him. But
yeah, it's kind of for me. I don't want to say I'm making a joke of it, but it's just like I don't know.
I
Just
think
not impressed.
I try and look at the positives and everything, and I hope that from this album, which is obviously blew up for him, sold out tours or whatever, has brought a load of people over. I hope that. And that would be great. But I do think, like you say, it's like, for us now, at least we're pop punk. It doesn't matter. Whereas, you know, there was times I remember on tour being like, just tell people we're a punk band rather than pop punk because it wasn't cool, you know. But you're right. I think it does.
I think that's where it's good for the scene. Because even if his next album isn't pop punk, like taking him out of it altogether, it's sort of allowed people in that scene to be successful again. Because I think for a long time, part of the problem was that if you had any success, you were instantly a sellout.
Yeah.
And it was like the other sort of music scenes like rap were like, you could be fucking rich and you could fuck all the girls and you could have all the drugs and you can have the cars and the mansion. In rock, like blanket it across the entire fucking genre was if you are successful at all, with the exception of being Slipknot, you're a fucking sellout.
Yeah.
And you're instantly uncool for being successful, which is stupid because that fucks the scene. And he's brought it back to people being like, oh, actually, yeah, I want the fucking Aston Martin. I want Megan Fox as my girlfriend. Like, that's fucking badass.
Yeah.
And I think even if he fucks off, there's going to be like a whole generation, hopefully, of like kids that are like, yeah, pop punk's cool and you're allowed to be a successful band.
I hope so.
Because the last time there were really successful bands was before all this negative shit came around and, you know, Fall Out Boy and Paramore and all those blew up huge. And that was when it was cool to be huge.
Yeah.
So that's where I think it's positive, man. It's not like him particularly with his music, but the scene just embracing being successful, I think, is a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, I do hope so, and I know that a lot of other bands are kind of in the same position as us. But like, I know from talking to other people now and just listening to what our friends and other people are putting out, it's like they're sticking to their pop punk roots, but just exploring a bit more, which is, I think, what naturally happens as you get, you know, bigger as a band and move through, you know, the album to your next album. You do that anyway, but you know, I think for now, we're like, we need to just bring a little bit back of that early stuff for us, you know, just the core of what Waster actually is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because, you know, Waster's never been like a super, like you're saying about like serious and or whatever. Waster was never that. Like the image of Waster is like just being scrappy and just.
That's what I liked about your first proper album was it seemed quite fuck you.
That's like what we always have been.
Yeah.
It's the only way we really know how to write.
And I think that we haven't really felt fully ourselves until we started writing this album. You know, I joined the band, it'll be nearly 3 years now because of COVID and stuff. But like, you know, me and Sammy sit down and write now. And like before, if it was like, we would write pop punk riffs. We're like, oh, can we do that? Is it not just a bit dated or whatever? But now we'd like fully embrace it, but just, you know, use the core of it. And like I said, just explore a bit more, you know.
It's tougher because we're two albums in. It's like, you can't, with the same genre, you feel like you've kind of done it all, you know.
That's what I'm saying about the word saturated as well. Like there's so many people doing the same thing. It's like almost it's like the dilemma when we're writing, isn't it? It's like we want you want it to be that simple pop punk progression or whatever, but without being it like, as we say, like my first band. And do you know what I mean? It's like the same thing that everyone's doing.
Yeah.
So it's hard to be new and different, but using those original, that core pop punk, you know.
Do you think it's important that you stay with your core, or does it
I think
if you change?
I don't think
Depends who you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's whatever you want to do at the end of the day. I think
For us, yeah.
Yeah, for us, but for other bands, if they don't want to, then whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like some bands that, you know, we know have like started off as pop punk and now they're doing heavier stuff, or now they're doing poppier stuff, and it's working great for them. So it is what it is. It's each their own, I think.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think it totally depends on the band and just where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So with this latest album, is that on Hopeless again?
No. We're actually on a new label now that we haven't.
It's not announced.
No, it's not announced, so we're not going to talk about that on here yet.
This won't be going out for a few weeks, so if you want
well, it won't be announced then either.
Okay.
So no, we're on a new label now, and yeah, the vibe in our camp is great. We're just writing what we want to write. Like I said, the core stuff and what Wasted really is. We've been on a bit of a like this. The journey's been a bit like that for the last couple of years, trying to be so different and out there. And I think now we're just like honed in on what we want to do. You know?
Yeah,
not
it's like
worrying about trying to be different and just being like, this is what I fucking want to do and I'm going to do it.
well, people get involved at certain points. You know what I mean? When you like put out a record and stuff, and you get told all different things like, oh, there's a ceiling on what you're doing. You need to, you know, like they don't tell you what to do, but you know, suggestions and stuff. Like, I see this is how you're going to be successful, and then that side of you obviously thinks, oh, I want to be successful because I want to keep doing this. So it's like, maybe we should listen to them. And it's tough because you don't know where you know, coming from sometimes with writing, because you just want like a fresh head with it, but sometimes, you know, you're getting like swayed different ways, and like, yeah, you kind of, you forget like who you're writing for as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. We did a stint of, well, Sammy did a lot, and you know, him and I did a stint or a couple of stints in LA writing with different people, because you know, there's a point where our whole team was in LA, manager, you know, we had booking agent out there, label, and we were like, yeah, we're going to go and try the LA thing and, you know, write out there. And it's cool. Like, it was a great experience to like write with loads of different people, but we've said this in an interview before. It's like kind of a conveyor belt out there.
Yeah.
It's LA. Everyone knows what LA is about. You know, everyone goes there to be famous, moves to LA to be famous. And it was like we were going in and writing with different people every single day. And this was at the point where we were like, oh yeah, this is sick. And then a few months later, we're like listening back. It's like, this doesn't really sound like Waster. But then on the other hand, when we listen to some of those demos now, like the last few weeks, they're like, do you know what? Maybe there is parts of that.
There's some stuff in there.
That is us. But like I said, I think we've been quite clouded for the last few years because of that whole thing. It was we toured a lot. Like, we didn't really have a lot of time off in the last few years. It was quite relentless. A lot of American tours, and not in the easiest conditions and stuff. Like, our first US tour was in a van with no trailer, so like all the gear was in the van with us. I remember like the merch racks like resting on our heads and stuff when we were touring, and we just found it like really hard to like. Well, the plan wasn't it? We were going to write on tour. It was like, yeah, we're going to write on tour.
Yeah, cool.
Never worked. Because it was just like too uncomfortable and too tiring.
Fun, isn't it? It's a hard job, man. People think it's just going to be fun.
Oh yeah, dude.
Especially at that level where you're doing most of it yourself.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking tough, and the drives are really, really fucking.
Oh yeah. If you're a band and you've not toured the States and you think the driving in the UK is long, you go to, you know, Australia or the States and you're like, okay, the UK is easy now. But saying that, what I just said, some of our like favorite riffs have been written just on off chances on tour, haven't they?
Yeah.
You know, like Filthy was just like in a dressing room in Italy, I think, and other things. So it does happen, but I think when we're on tour and we're like, yeah, we're gonna write, it doesn't really work. But yeah, sorry, I went off on a bit of a tangent there.
No,
it's all good.
That's cool. With your tours, have you done an American one with a proper tour bus?
We've never done a bus, but we've done our last one or our last couple. What we started doing is doing RVs.
So you have a lot of space compared to
like we had
rooms and shit. It's pretty cool.
Oh shit! I saw something actually. Didn't like some dude crash or something, and you came out the bed?
Yeah, that was
He
funny.
didn't crash, but yeah.
So the guy who was driving us, who was our like tour manager, like he was great guy. We love him to bits. If you're watching this, Mike, and he just basically hit the brakes at a stoplight, like misjudged it a little bit or whatever. And I was thinking, we stopped. Like it was a pretty long stop, and I was like, everyone's like, good. I'm really surprised. And there was like a half a second delay. And Sammy just comes flying out this curtain because there was basically a double bed at the back and there's a curtain which goes all the way like down to the front of the van. And Sammy just comes flying out this curtain, asleep in midair, hits the floor and then wakes up like really disorientated. I was like, you're right. And he's like, yeah. And then he went, actually, no, I'm not all right, because he was asleep until the minute he hit the floor, It was funny. I mean, yeah, probably not very safe, but those RVs were fun. Like,
Yeah.
it was good times.
To be honest.
Huh?
Not really.
Yeah, I can imagine. It was good times, though.
I love that you're like, oh man, this is brilliant.
Yeah.
This is this story, and you're just like, man, this thing, and it hurt.
Yeah.
We did get, those RVs were cool, though. Like, it is hard touring in a van, but like,
Yeah.
to be honest, the main fact of why it was so hard that first place because we didn't have a trailer. But then we got a trailer and put all the gear in it. It was fine because then we could all sleep on like seats because it's like a minibus.
I was trying to get a trailer every day on that tour. I was like, can we at least just have a trailer? They were like, no, it's fine. Honestly, it's fine.
Our team were just like, you can't afford it.
I was like,
can't
no,
afford it.
we're getting a fucking trailer now.
Well,
Honestly,
basically, we were on tour with Neck Deep, and like we rocked up to the first show, and they come out their bandwagon, which is cross between a van and a bus, basically, and they were like, "Are you guys touring in a van without a trailer?" And we were like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Why the fuck are you doing that?" Exactly. And we were like, "Yeah, do you know what?" We were like, "Why the fuck are we doing that?" So yeah, to be fair to Sammy, he did push it.
staying in their wagon until we got a trailer.
Yeah, there was times where they were just like,
you can do that. Honestly, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they were letting us go and sleep on their bandwagon because they felt sorry for us. But, as we did more and more tours, we did start to, got a trailer, and then we got to the RV thing, which was cool, and then got hotels and stuff. So it wasn't as bad, but yeah.
It was fine.
Never done a full tour bus in the US, but the RVs.
We've done tour bus in UK and Europe.
Yeah. Which do you prefer, UK or US or Europe or US?
Always a hard question.
It's all the same.
You're like, I don't fucking know where I am.
I
Turn up on a play.
The drives are well better in the UK, obviously.
Yeah,
they're
it's
short.
like a couple hours versus a couple
Yeah,
days
that's dead nice, and you're home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just go home.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So
a lot of the time we do
that's
stay
sick.
at home, don't we? In the
But
UK?
then US, when you do it, first couple times, it's all kind of new and fresh.
exciting.
So it's like, oh, whoa, like, I don't know. Same with Australia, there's that I'd never been before, you know what I mean? Till Wasted. So we went and everything was dead new to me. There's fucking kangaroos and
I've never been to Australia, man.
Neither have I. That was
Exactly.
before I joined.
it's like, oh, this is mad. So
I don't know which I prefer. I mean, when you're in that zone and you're on the stage, it's a show. Like, it doesn't matter where you
the
are.
shows are all, the shows can't really
Pick
compare
apart.
any
Yeah.
of them, but in general, I don't know. I don't like Europe.
Europe's hard.
I've never been a fan of Europe.
On the other hand, like, sorry, we do love you, Europe. We will come back one day, hopefully. Hopefully with Brexit and all that.
Love, hate.
Yeah, Europe's just like, I mean, on one hand, they look after you super well, the promoters and stuff like that. And the fans out there are great. They're great. Like, we've got some really dedicated fans out there, but for some reason for us, everything just always goes wrong in Europe, like vans breaking, and I don't know, we just never really had much luck with Europe. We've had some really cool shows in
We
Europe.
always go there in like January and shit, it's freezing and that. That's probably it. That's why
Yeah, you need to do a summer tour, man.
Yeah, I mean, we did a summer tour in Europe with state champs, didn't we, in Knucklepuck, that Galaxy Camp thing. That was cool.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Was
It was
good.
nice and warm. But when you're going to Poland, it was like we played a show in Poznan. It was like, I don't know, minus
18.
minus 18, minus 20.
degrees.
It was just so cold. We were sitting in this hostel next to the venue, literally like snot dripping down your nose and just freezing straight away. Coming out the venue, opening the door on the van, and it's just so brittle that it breaks in half and stuff. It was that cold. But then again, we've had that in America as well. Iowa City on our last tour was literally the coldest place I've ever been, like ever. So Yeah, was there a blizzard that day?
Felt like it.
Yeah, and there was going up to the venue. All the steps were icy, so you're like loading gear in up these steps, and it's just pure ice. It was great.
It was awesome.
It was great.
It made everything hard.
The show is cool, so that's all that matters.
I mean, you do get a bit of everything in America. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's like all seasons at all times of the years.
It's crazy, man. It can take you by surprise because I've done South by Southwest a few times in Texas, and the first time I went, it was like a heat wave, which to me was just like, oh, it's Texas. That's what I expect. It's hot as fuck. But because it was the first time I'd been, I took loads of clothes, a bit of everything.
Yeah.
So the next year I went back thinking, okay, I know what I'm fucking going for. Like, I'll just take vests, I'll take swim shorts.
Yeah.
Like, fuck it, I couldn't wait because it was so hot the year before. And like the thing that had blown my mind the year before was we'd got, and this is a few years ago, we'd got this like really, I don't even know what we had them for, but we'd got this like really high-powered law firm. They were in London, big fucking skyscraper offices, and they were like, we were paying a ridiculous amount of money that we didn't need to be spending. And the woman that was in charge of music, like there was a massive music department, and the woman in charge, I remember her name was Chloe, and she was just hot as fuck. Like, she was just fucking fit. And obviously, I'd only ever seen her in a suit, being very professional and very like lawyery.
Yeah.
And then we turned up on this first day in the middle of this heat wave, and we were like, oh yeah, you just first day you meet the people that you already know, right?
Yeah.
And we went to go meet her, and she's in a fucking bikini. I was just like, the fuck? And she had a towel. She was like, oh yeah, we're gonna crash a pool party. And I was like, this is the greatest thing ever.
Yeah,
like,
America is fun for stuff like that.
Like, it was sick. So the second year I turned up being like, I know exactly what's going on. And it rained so fucking heavy. Like, it was freezing.
Yeah.
And the first day we had to go to a mall and buy like coats and fucking...
Yeah, you were there in your swim shorts, pure rain.
It was like, what the fuck? And then one of our mates, because South by Southwest was in Austin.
Fair, yeah.
And South by So What was happening in Dallas. Is it? Yeah. And it was at this baseball stadium.
What's the difference?
Basically, like South by Southwest is like a big music... it's a festival but conference. They take over
industry.
the entire city. It's fucking insane.
Yeah, it's like where bands go to play, and like all the big promoters and that go and discover bands and stuff, isn't it? It's kind of like what Camden Rocks is over here on a much smaller scale, obviously. But yeah, but then South by So What's more like just laid back, isn't it?
That was just like a one-day festival.
Yeah.
So like with South by Southwest, that they take over the city and they turn everything into a venue.
Yeah.
So like they'd get like quick fits, whatever the equivalent is, in the car ramps. They'd just put boards on and that would be a stage. Or they'd get, I don't know, a 7-Eleven or something and move all the shelves and just Harris fence down some of the stuff so you couldn't actually nick the shit, and then the bands would just play in the aisles and stuff.
I did not know that. That's
nuts,
really
man.
cool.
Fuck it, it's really, really cool.
Sounds like a Rise Against video or something.
It was sick. So
Sounds like South Park.
Yeah, literally.
they
That's
probably
awesome.
have stuff based on it. It was nuts, man. Like I went a few times. It was always crazy.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Oh.
But then South by So What was just an all-dayer
Yeah. happening
at the same time, and I guess a lot of the bands just do both because it's easy.
Yeah.
And it was in a baseball stadium. Someone offered us passes, and we were like, yeah, let's fucking go. So we drove all the way to Dallas. I borrowed a mate's car that I lived in Birmingham and he had moved to America. We drove there. The rain was so heavy that we couldn't fucking see half the time. It was like intense. We got to this baseball stadium and it would have been insane. Like we had a box, like on the one side of us, it was Bring Me's box. The other side, it was like Pierce the Veil or somewhere. It was cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Except the rain was so heavy, no one got to play.
No.
So we drove like 3-4 hours this fucking thing. Sat looking at it was cool because we're in a baseball stadium.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fucking gear didn't work because everyone was just like, oh, we don't use this amount of rain. And then
Yeah, that happens at like Uprawr. Not Uprawr. It doesn't happen. Happens at Warped Tour. Yeah, that happens. Well, to be fair, your ceiling did fall through at one point.
Oh man, that was so fucking
We
bad.
were talking about this the other day. Yeah, but at like you see that
I
at like.
haven't heard about that.
Oh right, well Jack can tell you in a minute. But if you want to.
I was broken, man.
But I was going to say that happened. You see that happen at Warped Tour. I remember like the year Creeper were on there. I remember them posting like, "Oh, we're not playing the show today because there's literally just a blizzard or a massive rainstorm or something happening." Like America, like I'm pretty sure we ran away from a couple of blizzards whilst we've been in America.
Yeah.
That time we had Chops on the tour. This guy was working with us, and there was a snowstorm or whatever. And we had all the highways were closed, and we had to drive through the mountains with a van and a trailer. And I'm thinking we're gonna die because like literally the van and the trailer were just doing this.
I went with Start.
Oh yeah, he wasn't there. He wasn't there. And also that time, yeah, we got stuck on a mountain and I had to get out and like get the van down the hill. It was great. Oh no, that was a different tour, so it happened twice. But yeah, America weather-wise can just change like that. Yeah. You know, I'm pretty sure there was a point on one of the last tours. It was like, yeah, that town we were in the other day, that's actually been completely wiped out now by floods. Do you remember? Yeah. We were sitting in that pub watching Liverpool play. Do you remember we started?
I remember that, yeah.
And
there's this giant flood. He's like, what?
Well, no, we were sitting there and Mike, our tour manager, was like, you know that town we were in the other day? Well, that whole town has like been wiped out by a flood. And we were like, oh, okay, it's like somewhere in Florida or something. We were like, oh, wow.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit is proper.
So what happened with your roof then?
Oh man, that was so shit. That wasn't even in the venue, it was in the studios. But basically it was in lockdown. We'd been closed for about 2 weeks. It was just shit. You know, it was, we didn't know what was going on. We were coming in like 1 day a week just to, we'd probably been closed for 3 weeks, just to check on things while we were waiting. And I walked in the one day, we literally opened the doors and the ceiling was on the floor. Everything was just like covered in broken like ceiling crap that had like it was about that deep fucking water. There'd been a heat wave and apparently I know about roofs now.
Yeah, he's a roofer now.
When this goes to shit and I have to go get a real job. So we've got 2 pitched roofs and where they come together you have a thing called a box valley. Right. And apparently
I bet everyone's really interested.
Everyone wants to know about the box valley. Basically, there was a lot of rain and the roof failed.
Yeah, there you go. That's what happened.
And it fell down.
My ceiling's gone through.
But it happened like...
Wait, your ceiling went through because you had a bath.
Literally,
He had a bath in his ceiling. He nearly fell through the ceiling.
Legit, that happened.
I've never fallen through a ceiling, to be fair.
I've never thought... That actually happened to me, or almost to me at parties. So when I was like 17, I went to this girl's house. Yeah. You know... I'm going to sound like a prick. But you know when you're in college and someone fancies you and you're not interested, but you think I can get away with a lot because they're not going to say anything. So she threw this party. I took a lot of people with me. Got really fucked up. Ended up, I don't even remember who the girls were, but I ended up like in her bath with 3 other girls. And then...
Okay.
The whole night got...
Yeah. Was this a jacuzzi? Or?
I don't remember. Like this, you know, you've got little bits of the night.
Yeah.
Mess, man. There were so many other things that I can't fucking say.
Good. That's not.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
But it cracked the fucking ceiling. The water started dripping through.
Oh yeah.
And then I think it was a Nan's house. It wasn't even her house.
Oh, poor Nan. Nan's house. Amazing.
But I remember like not really being very coherent at the time. So people like just shouting at me and having to go at me, just being like, oh, I don't fucking know. Like,
just went for a bath.
And then I woke up the next morning in her living room, like on the sofa, and looked up, and there was just this big bath-shaped like crack in the ceiling.
That's scary.
There's all the watermarks dripping through. And then, she didn't turn up for college for a few days. And then it turned out that she'd been living with a nan and Nan had kicked her out.
I forgot. I thought you were going to say a lot worse than
that.
And Nan walks through and the bath fell on her head. I thought that's what you were going to say. Don't put that on.
I'd be pretty upset if that was the thing.
Yeah,
but I'd
you
still
killed.
tell that story.
He's just laughing.
Yeah, Jack killed someone's nan. You know, it's proper like that scene in the old movies where the piano falls on someone's head, but in this case, you got in a bath and it fell on someone's nan.
Fell through. Didn't completely come.
So sorry.
Yeah, that happened to me. Not the same story, but
so a nan kicked her out.
Yeah, she got kicked out.
Ah, well,
fair.
Yours didn't actually fall through though, did it?
It was the same as that. It was like coming through.
Yeah.
Like the water was pouring through at the
that was the thing that fucked it, man. It was all the water getting into the floor and rooms.
I'm pretty sure yours is not fully fixed now. I'm pretty sure it's still drip. You go for a piss
so
downstairs
bad.
at yours and
it's so bad.
The bath's ready to fall on.
Yeah, it's gonna come in any day.
You just walk downstairs one day and the bath's in the bottom of the toilet. It's right above the toilet downstairs as well. Yeah. So it's just you're gonna have a downstairs bathroom soon.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
That's actually what you're aiming for. You just don't want to do the work.
It's easier than carrying the bath down the stairs.
It's the landlord. I tried.
funny.
I love it, man. So back to the album then. So I think the first album came out with No Sleep.
Yeah.
Is that right? And then the second
yeah.
So is there a big difference for you guys when you change label? Does that actually have much of an effect on anything? Or
No.
The music's ours, and like we've never, although Sammy mentioned like people try and not specifically the label, but people are like, oh, you should do this, you should do that. We're gonna write what we want to write, and like there's been times where there has been pressure from certain people, like, oh yeah, we should put this out, and we're like, nah, because we're not ready.
Always been a bit annoying to work with.
Oh yeah, people are like, we'll send them demos.
Like, so you don't want to be a big band then? It's like, well, I'm not saying that, but
we just want to put out what we want to put out.
Yeah, I just don't want to be cringing it.
And like during that, like I say, that thing where we were veering from
more from management or labels or
just a bit of both in the past. Different, just different kind of people. No one's been too bad.
No, it's not. Like, no, probably it sounds like it exaggerated. Probably, there's just been people like, oh, you should do this, but there's been times like, oh, we'd love to put this out because people have asked us for demos, and we're just like, yeah, you can have them, but we're not putting them out. Like, we don't want to because we wanted our next album to be. We wanted to be proud of it, and at that point, unfortunately, at that part of the time, we weren't fully stoked on what we were writing, but now we are, and now we're like, let's put songs out. Like, we write songs and we want to put them out, and I think every band goes through that stage
in some way or another.
You know. But we've always had great relationships with all our management and label and stuff, and there's never been any like bad blood or anything. It's just business, innit? They're like, you need to put songs out, and we're like, we're not ready, But yeah,
I get the impression out of the two of you give this really eloquent, this is the reason, and Sammy's just like, nah.
Nah, I'm just.
Sammy's very like just straight to the point. Like he's just like, nah, that's what we're saying does coincide with each other. It's just we speak differently, probably. It's but there is, like I said, now we're writing tunes, and the people we're working with now are stoked on them, and we're really excited to put music out.
Do you know when you're going to be putting music out?
Yeah, in about. What's the date today?
25th.
And when's this coming out?
Oh, shit, we're meant to come out on the 22nd.
No, that's next month. Come out 3 days ago. You've not heard it? What?
Haven't you heard it yet?
I thought this one here.
22nd.
When's this airing?
In about 4 weeks.
Oh, it'll be coming out 3 days ago. Coming out 3 days ago. 22nd of October, we got a new single coming out. Yeah. I guess we can just say what it's called as well, because it'll be out.
Yeah, it's called Jobbo.
Jobbo.
Which means job's worth.
Yeah. Like when someone's a job's worth.
And you don't like that. They piss you off, don't they?
Yeah. This is it's a sick song, and I'm really excited to put this out, and I know Sammy is too. It's something we wrote at my place like a couple of months ago.
Yeah.
We've been doing a lot of writing, just, me and Sammy at my place. I've got a little studio set up there. Been working with a producer out in LA, and we've been, obviously because of COVID, like I said before, we'd go out to LA and record, but now we have to record and then send stuff over. So we actually do a lot of the recording ourselves now and send stuff over and do stuff over Zoom and Skype or whatever. And we're really excited about this song, and it's coming out 3 days ago, 22nd of October, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Really excited about it.
Awesome, man. So do you prefer that type of writing, or?
I don't know.
Different? You don't have a preference?
Do you know what?
I don't have a preference.
No, he can write anywhere.
I don't
like,
have a preference.
Sammy literally writes. You're constantly writing and voice noting stuff, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
At the start, when we first started doing it, because it was like I said, we were so used to going to a studio. When we were like, right, there's this new thing where you Zoom people and use this software where you can record into their computer, and like, this is really weird, and I don't know how I'm going to feel about it, because a lot of the time the studio is about vibing off people and being in the same room with each other. But we didn't see each other for like a year at the start of COVID. I didn't see, maybe more. Probably. I can't even, when was the first time we saw each other? I can't really remember.
When you came to mine and give me COVID.
It wasn't. I didn't give him COVID. I did have COVID, but no. But like, it was like, is this going to be all right? Like, you're not in the room to like vibe with people, but you're sitting in your room, in your own, the comfort of your own room with your cup of tea, and you've got your bandmates on the screen, the producer on the screen.
Recorded the last song. I remember being like super drunk.
Oh yeah, you're still very drunk at that
Wine.
point. Yeah. What job? No, you weren't
All
doing
the
job.
Rain.
Oh yeah, that was. It was that was done during lockdown. You're right.
I
Yeah.
was fucking wasted.
Yeah.
I
Sammy
was
was.
singing that song.
Yeah, I remember that. To be honest, parts of that though got some of the really cool parts of the song, but we don't tend to like get super drunk when we record anymore. Like we were recording last night, and we drink a lot less now as a
We
band.
don't really. I don't drink.
Nah, like I don't drink. But you know what I mean. Like we were very much a party band. We used to drink a lot, and you know, Jack and me personally, I love to party in that. But I think we like to party. Did that sound proper Alan Partridge then? But me and Jack have, had, like that's what I'm saying. Anyway, back to the point. Yeah, like. We've got a much more comfortable environment going on now where it's just, recording ourselves and sending it off. And I actually, the point of my original rant was that it's kind of the same. You've got the producer at the other end of the computer. It's just the same as having him in the same room. Yeah. So a lot of the time now we're in the same room. At the start of COVID, we weren't. We were on the screen, but...
As long as we are, when we write, I think that's important.
Yeah.
With the producer, if you've already got stuff you've written in a room,
I guess as long as he's on side, he knows what you want. Then
you're
all working in the same direction anyway.
And a lot of the time, for example, this song was practically written before we took it to the producer, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Me and Sammy wrote this song.
There was a lot done, wasn't it?
Yeah, and I think the producer did his bit and added the last 10% or whatever, and wrote a couple of parts. But this song was like basically done, which was nice.
Me personally, anyway, I struggled with. Trying to find like a new producer because we've done everything with Seb from like day one. We did everything we've ever done with Seb apart from like the last 2 songs we've done. So it was tough going to like trying out loads of new producers who we could vibe with, but we found someone.
Yeah, he's really cool. His name's Zach Jones. We found him during that bit in LA where we were trying loads of different people. There's a couple of people we found from there that we've really enjoyed working with.
Yeah, there is.
But yeah, Zach's great. He really gets what we're doing, and he's really easy to work with, and it's super fast. I think that's important with a producer as well, when you're taking an idea that they're like straight on board and they're fast at their computer stuff and, making stuff sound good. Because like, for example, when we're writing a lot of time, because I'm not a producer, I'm just trying to get around the computer and stuff. And it's like, with Sammy specifically, it's like trying to keep the vibe there. It's like, hang on, I just need to edit this. You know what I mean?
My attention span.
Oh yeah, basically what I'm saying is attention span. And I can see him, his phone comes out his pocket. I'm like, right, I need to hurry up. I need to keep him.
I'm like writing album 5 over here. Like,
literally he said, I'm already thinking about the next album. No, we haven't even finished this one yet. But
yeah.
I love it, man. So the song that's just came out then, is that about somebody specific or anything in specific? It's just generally...
Yeah, it's just pricks, isn't it?
Just talking about people being pricks.
Yeah, it's not about anyone.
Yeah,
it's not like a...
No, it's just... I mean, you write the lyrics, so like you're more... I can't really answer that, but you kind of get what the vibe of the song's about. You would have heard it by now. So.
Nah, it's not like a personal thing. It's
just in general. That's
It's a bit of like a
fuck you off, and you talk about it.
I suppose it's a bit of fuck you song.
It is, yeah, but it's not
to anyone specific. It's just like
it's just a fucking. It's just a song.
I mean, originally the working title of that song was like Monday Morning, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When we first started, and that was like the vibe, like fuck Monday
It's
Morning.
kind of like Graveyard Shift 2.
Yeah. To be fair, I never thought about that. It is, but it's like fuck Monday Morning. Real life is boring. Yeah, it's like, that vibe,
Yeah.
It's just kind of, that. You'll have to listen to it to understand.
I'll listen to it.
You have to. Yeah. Well, I'll send you it.
We wanted to go back to our roots a little bit, so what better to write our first ever song again? Yeah. It's
definitely like that. Like I was saying, we get feedback from people, on like YouTube and that, like, but what they want to hear. And obviously, like I said, we write what we want to write. But like a lot of it is like, we miss Screwed.
You're shit now.
You're fucking shit now. We missed your first EP. But it is like when people ask me like, what are you doing now? Like, what's the genre? Like, what are you doing? I'm like, it's more punky but it's also more poppy, but it's also waster. So it's so hard to it's so hard to like pin it down. But yeah, it's like definitely vibes of that first EP are coming back.
Attitude.
Yeah, that definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I look forward to hearing it. I'm gonna grab a couple of the questions.
Okay.
That we picked off the board.
Well, it looks like you got 4 there, mate.
There are 4. I think you only hit 3, and I don't know which 3.
Oh, just ask them all.
Right, hang on. That was the one we started with, so we're done.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh God.
This isn't a good question at all.
What does that mean?
It's just crap. I think Sammy should answer this one first.
Yeah.
If Boots were a boot, what boot would he be?
Boots are a boot.
Yeah, if I was a boot, what boot would I be? Well, do you remember the boot that I was actually named after?
So you're like a Clark's guy.
I was named after a Timberland boot.
Oh.
So to be honest, all right. Well, you can answer. I'd like to say I'd be a Doc Martin. To be honest, because I'm wearing Doc Martens.
Because you've got Docs on now.
Yeah. I do love some Docs, but I mean, it could be a Wellington
You're
boot.
not Doc. No.
Oh, fuck you.
A Wellington boot.
Wellington.
Oh, mate, that is an awful question.
Climbing boot, walking boot.
Why would you be that?
Don't know, quite practical, aren't
What's that got to do with walking?
What, walking boots? Like, you know, like
the
when you go on a hike and that.
walking, okay.
I mean, I'm answering your question here, I'm sorry.
I know, yeah. Rugby boot.
Fair enough.
The rugby boy, aren't you?
Well, not really. I was in school, but I'm not now.
Rafa loves his rugby.
Yeah, mate, can't stop watching rugby. All I do at home is, you're getting something waved at you over there, Jack.
I'm being told we've been going for 40 minutes.
How long is it supposed to go on for?
40, 50 minutes.
Oh, that's fine.
So we're on track, man. We're doing good.
Yeah, fair.
You're either rugby boots or just a good pair of Clarks.
Fuck Clarks, mate.
No,
Shoes,
they do
though.
some nice desert boots.
I do actually like a set of DBs,
Clarks,
you know.
Yeah, you know, honestly.
Desert boots are all right.
I miss Clark scanning my feet properly. Now I can't remember what fucking shoe size I am, so I have to just randomly order them on Amazon and send ones back that are wrong.
Is it?
What, did they do like a laser thing or what?
Yeah, man.
I only remember the thing they just put your feet in and closed it until it reached your feet. That's what we had in Wales, mate. We had no lasers in Wales. You literally put your feet in it and they just
Sounds
clamped
like a
it.
punishment.
Yeah, it's like the Welsh knot. If anyone knows what that is.
No.
I don't
Do you know what the Welsh knot
Welsh
is?
and I don't know what it is.
The Welsh knot is when they used to punish people for speaking Welsh. Here's a history lesson for you kids. Where if you spoke Welsh, they made you wear this Welsh knot, and then you had to dob someone else in for wearing Welsh to pass it on, and you'd get punished for speaking Welsh, and you weren't allowed to speak.
So right.
Yeah, it's
Have
racist.
you seen It Follows?
No.
Oh, never mind them.
No, I'll watch it though. Anyway, that's it. I'm a desert boot.
You're a desert boot.
Yeah.
I like it, man.
Well, I did say like
Or a Clark.
I
you
said
said a
other,
rugby
I
boot?
said other shit stuff as well.
Yeah, thanks,
But
mate.
he's chosen the best
Appreciate it. Subjective.
I reckon I'd be a fucking flip-flop. All about the beach.
That's not boot.
Oh,
though,
are
is
we
it?
allowed like shoes and that?
No. Strictly boots. Do you know what's funny?
Yeah,
Right?
I would go.
When I call people now, they think the pharmacy's calling them. Like the amount of people that I call, like Chris, our mate, called the other day, and he was like, "I keep saying, hey Google, call Boots," and then this woman answers like Boots Pharmacy, and he's like, "For fuck's sake!" I rang someone the other day. I was like, "You're right, mate. How you doing?" He was like, "Yeah, good." And I was like, "Fucking hell, what have I done here?" He was like, "Have I got an eye test booked or something?" I was like, "It's Boots." Like,
Your full name's in my phone.
oh god, that's
I know.
awful.
That's bad. Isn't
You
it?
would never call me by my full name.
No.
Thomas.
Don't release it. It's a secret. Thomas Christopher Hawkes.
Hawk's a pretty fucking cool name. Though.
Yeah, it is, to be fair. It's a good last name, I suppose.
Still weird though.
What?
It's not a weird name, but it's just
Well, my
weird.
girlfriend calls me
It's
Tom.
weird that you've got a name.
Yeah, a lot
That
of
isn't
people.
Boots.
A lot of people that know me, they're like.
Your name is Boots.
A lot of people don't know my real name, and they've known me for years. They just don't know, unless they have me on Facebook.
I've got loads of mates like that though.
Yeah,
I've got
My
like
housemates and stuff.
I don't know what Swee's real name is. I don't know what.
Scott.
Yeah,
Hagen's
Scott
called
Squeenie.
Chris.
Yeah.
How
It's
mad's that?
disappointing when you find out somebody's name.
Oh yes, yeah. You
It's
never want
like-
to find out.
it's
Never
always-
meet your
it's always
heroes and never
Chris,
find
isn't
out the real name of a nickname.
Right. Okay. Next question.
Hey, that's my middle name.
You fucking shit
you
name
bastard. Oh, Samuel.
Back to music. What do you think the future of the scene will be without Warped Tour? Do you think it'll make a difference?
No.
Straight up.
No, because there'll be something else. Like they did that thing last year when it was like a mini Warped Tour.
Summer.
Sad Summer's basically Warped Tour now, isn't it? Sorry.
Warped Tour probably could be back anyway in some form.
Sad Summer's like a touring festival now.
Don't get me wrong, Warped Tour was huge for
and influential as well.
Huge for the scene.
Yeah.
We went to Cleveland, didn't we? Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And we went. It's like all Elvis and all them ones.
Aretha Franklin, and all the people that created rock and roll.
And then there's like a Warped Tour section,
which sick.
We were like,
that's cool.
Pretty excited to see.
Yeah, because loads of our mates were
cool as well.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, super influential. Definitely, it's a thing. It probably will affect it in some way, but I think there's other stuff.
I don't think it'll affect the music. Like them bands are still there. It sucks for like the people who loved it.
There were a lot of bands who lived for Warped Tour. They just played Warped Tour, and that was it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe it will. There'll be those bands maybe don't do as much anymore. You know what I mean?
I don't think it'll have, like I say, effect on the actual the scene and the music that people are writing though.
Definitely not here. But maybe in America though.
Yeah, maybe. You probably won't tell for another 5-10 years though, will you? When the bands are just dropping off or whatever. But like you said, there's new things popping up. Sad Summer seems to be like a roaring success for the last 2 years, whatever they've been doing.
It's not the same though, is it? It's like a few bands. This is like
it's a tour. Yeah. It's not on the same scale. But how did Warped Tour start? Like what scale did that start at? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I can't see him doing that again because it is such a ridiculous.
Oh
tour.
yeah, literally like hundreds of bands rolling into a different
It's
city every
ridiculous.
day.
It's amazing though, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you think about it, that they kept that up every year for as long as they did.
Yeah, props to everyone
Insane,
involved.
and it's so like such a community in it.
Yeah,
It was really cool.
Yeah,
but for bands because
making friends and
meet
stuff.
each other. And
100%. You make lifelong friends on.
Yeah. Well, you bond with people when you go through something that's like tough.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
As cool as it is, it must be the hardest fucking tour to do.
What we were saying about parts of our US tours were tough. It's like when other bands that we know did a whole Warped Tour in a van with no trailer, and that's at the heat of summer. It's like I remember a story years ago when You Me at 6, like Josh nearly like dropped off because they were in a bus and the AC broke. And if you know any Americans, the AC breaking is like the worst thing ever. But like they were just like, sweltering heat. It's just like I want to go home, and I can imagine it is really hard. But yeah,
I think it would be extremely fucking tough.
It would suck. Yeah. But yeah.
Cool. Right. Last question. Which one is it? This one's got nothing to do with fucking anything, but it is actually quite topical to me today. What do you think of online dating?
What do I think of online dating? I mean, I met my girlfriend on Bumble, to be fair. So
Is it?
Yeah, did I not tell you that?
Isn't Bumble for guys to meet guys?
No, that's Grindr, Jack.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, come on, get with it. No, I met my girlfriend on Bumble. She was in the same town, and where I grew up, I like knew everyone. And then I saw her, and I was just like, "You're not from round here," literally. But yeah, I mean, it worked out great for me. What do you think about online dating?
I don't do it.
No, he hasn't got an opinion then. I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. Oh,
yeah, I don't judge it. I don't do it.
For our friends, Phil, the singer of the Humour, Phil and Stacey, his fiance, and they've got kid Peaches together now. We went out for dinner with them the other day, me and my girlfriend. They were like, Peaches is a result of Tinder. Phil and Stacey met on Tinder, and now
can't wait to hear that.
They get on. Yeah, they're getting married, and they've got a beautiful little girl. So.
I mean, it works. I've been on Tinder before, obviously, like in the past.
I went on Tinder for like 12 hours and was like, this sucks.
Yeah,
I just
deleted the account.
I never do.
I really suck at like keeping conversations up online and making myself sound interesting. Like
I'm just not.
And I'm just like, they're like, yeah, and I'm just like, I really struggled. And I would always have phases of going in and out of it, of just going on, and I was just like, nah, I'm crap at this.
Texting is boring, man.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
If I have to send more than like 2 messages, I'm like, this is shit.
I know.
I suck.
Yeah.
But I was on Tinder for
I
like
just
12
suck.
hours.
I just suck.
I just suck. Yeah.
Deleted the account. I didn't match with a single person. And then the Saturday of like that week that I was here, and some girl that I'd never fucking seen in my life walked up to me in the club and went, "I saw you on Tinder. I swiped left."
What is that?
It's left back.
Yeah, it's like no.
Yeah, fair.
Heavy.
I used to
Nice one for telling me.
Yeah.
Sweet, thanks, man.
I used to remember seeing my mates on Tinder and then being like, swipe, like, as in yes, and then for a laugh in it, and they're like, "Oh, you like me on Tinder? What's that about?" I was like, "Oh, it was a joke." But it's funny when you live, even in Birmingham, you see a lot of people you know when you're on those things, and it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, if it works for you, it works for you. Great.
Sammy's like, nah.
Same as what he said.
Yeah,
No judgment, but I'm just shit at it. I don't. Yeah, it's never worked for
I
me.
agree,
like,
man. I mean, I had my very first ever online. Well, it was a real life date, but from an online thing.
Yeah.
Last night. Was it last night?
Oh, was it?
Fucking days today. Oh no, it was Thursday.
How'd that
Almost
go?
last night.
Saturday today. It's your club night tonight.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was fucking good, man.
Nice.
This girl messaged me. I didn't realize that I was being like stupid. I was trying to think of a word then to say.
Right.
That wasn't going to be overly offensive.
Yeah.
Like, but some girl like commented on something and was like, "Oh, what's the story?" And I was like, "I'll tell you if we meet up." And she just went, "Yeah." That was the whole thing. So then before,
I mean,
going
that's
to
how
meet
it
her-
used to happen, old fashioned.
Yeah,
like meeting
exactly,
up.
man.
That's what it's about.
That's about as far as the conversation would go before you get someone's number in real life. So I was like, well, that's all I need to fucking ask on here.
Yeah.
Like,
It is weird. Like, I've had times when I've spoke to like people for weeks and then it just fizzled out and never met up with them. Like the whole online thing is kind of weird. Not, it's just different, isn't it? When you speak, I don't think my mum would have any concept about how that whole thing works because she's very old fashioned, But back in the day, you just met someone, didn't you? And then went from there. Not like spoke for weeks and then never met up.
Yeah, exactly. So,
But whatever. I think times change, I suppose.
so it goes, man. I think, though, we are just about out of time. We're getting the nod from the producer. Is
Yes.
that what I
Sorry,
call him?
bro.
Sorry for having
Is that your title?
That's my official title.
That is his official
the
title.
producer.
I got it right.
The producer.
The
Sorry,
producer.
sir.
Awesome. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and review and subscribe and do anything else you can. If you want to watch us, then stay on YouTube, where you probably are right now because not many people listen to the audio only. But there is an audio only version on Amazon Podcast. Is that what it's called?
I don't know. You're asking me. You're the podcast. You run the podcast, mate.
It's on some Amazon thing, and it's on Spotify, and it's on Google, and something else. All the podcast things. So if you want to just listen to the audio only, you can, but you should definitely want to watch us because these guys are very, very, very attractive.
Oh, thank you. That was the ego boost I needed today.
And I'm also obviously very, very
You are very attractive, Jack. Yes.
So make sure you click like, make sure you hit subscribe. Catch you next time. Thank you guys.
See ya.